let's break down cover 2 man. Cover 2 man is a man coverage with 2 deep safeties. Those 2 deep safeties, as we see on the whiteboard, will be splitting the field in half and playing a zone on their half. So we've seen man coverage mixed with blitz. Now we're going to see man coverage mixed with more zone coverage. Why would a defense want to run cover 2 man? Well, cover 2 man is actually one of the safest coverages a defense can run, because if one of your corners gets beat, there's safety help behind him that he can pick up, and now it's not just an automatic touchdown. If you have the personnel to run cover 2 man, it's going to be a very hard coverage as an offense to beat. So what are some ways that we can see cover 2 man being run? Well, we're going to take a look at 2 examples in our film, and I have them written down on the board here. Our clip 1, we're going to see the standard cover 2 safeties high, and man covered across the board. But the one thing that changes is actually both linebackers are showing blitz on this play, and they're going to be faking the blitz and going out to guard their man. And clip 2 we'll take a look at is a lot more standard, and what you're going to see usually in college, high school, and especially youth, where there's nobody showing blitz, but they're just playing straight coverage. Both of them are pretty easy to read because you can't really disguise cover 2 man all that well without being too obvious. Alright, let's take a look at 2 cover 2 man examples, and both of these examples are going to be coming from the Minnesota Vikings. With cover 2 man, there's not a lot of variations the defenses can really show the offense that are really going to trick them. It's a pretty straightforward coverage and a straightforward read for the quarterback and the offense to make. So let's first take a look at how many safeties are over the top. And looking, we see clearly there are 2 safeties that are playing deep. And knowing that, it can be cover 2 man, cover 2 zone, or cover 4 most likely. Now, let's see how the corners are aligned compared to the receivers they're over the top of. All the cornerbacks are playing the same alignment over their respected receiver. So if we are able to identify what one cornerback's alignment is telling us about the coverage, we're going to be able to apply it to all the other cornerbacks in the coverage. So when we look at the top corner, he's playing inside leverage with hips and eyes facing the receiver. We don't see him looking in the backfield, which would tell us that this is going to be a zone coverage. So with hips and eyes square on the receiver, we're able to identify that this is going to be a man coverage coming out from the defense. So now putting all the information together that we've found out, we know that there's 2 safeties deep and that they're too far back to be playing any sort of man coverage, and also too far back to be either blitzing or in some sort of run support for the defense. And the corners and middle linebacker all lined up in man coverage. We can put it together that this defense is cover 2 man. And a telltale sign of man coverage is the corners and linebackers chasing people after the post snap, and that's what we see here. Here is our second example of cover 2 man, and this is a bit of a disguised coverage. So the first example, we saw the Vikings basically tell the offense what coverage they were running before the snap happened, but now the Vikings are going to try to disguise the coverage and make it harder on the offense to really tell what coverage they're in. Even with the defense disguising coverage, we're still able to tell what they'll be running by using our same rules that we use every time we line up and read the defense. Let's first start by identifying how many safeties are deep. In this example, it's another clear-cut one where we can see that there's 2 safeties deep, so that either means cover 2 man, cover 2 zone, or cover 4 usually. After that, we move down to the corners alignment. Let's start with the top of our screen. Well, we see his hips are square, his eyes are looking right at the receiver, and he's playing inside leverage. Moving to the slot receiver, we see the same thing. Eyes, hips right on the receiver and playing shaded inside leverage of the receiver. Now we're going to skip all the way to the bottom and we see the same look again. So 3 corners, plain man coverage. What does that usually tell about the coverage? If the corners are showing a man coverage look, well, it has to be some sort of man coverage, obviously. With that being said, we have to look over the tight end and see who's going to be guarding the tight end. When we look at it, nobody seems to be in man coverage over the tight end. But when we look at the linebackers blitzing, those could be possible people that are going to fake out of the blitz and go into coverage. Somebody has to be liable to cover the tight end and running back in man coverage, and we can clearly see that the safeties are way far out of the picture in doing so. This is when the linebackers come in. The linebacker's responsibility is going to be covering the tight end and running back once the ball is snapped. What Mike Zimmer and the Minnesota Vikings are trying to do is make it look like they're blitzing, but the 2 linebackers are going to drop out in man coverage. So it looks like it's going to be some sort of blitz, but in reality, it's really just cover 2 man, but they're just disguising it. Well, I hope you picked up something about cover 2 in this video that you can use during your season. If you're interested in wanting to know more about different coverages, look in the playlist below.